Sometimes the loudest thing another person can say is nothing. It is a silence that rings in the ears. It is a silence that fills the space where a connection used to be. It feels heavier than any argument could ever be. You check the thread, then you check it again 10 minutes later. The blue light is the only thing illuminating the room. The silence isn't just empty, it's heavy, pulsating with unspoken questions. Why can a silence occupy an entire day? Welcome to the Human Code. Today, we investigate the psychology of social exclusion and the profound pain of being ignored. We've all felt it. That sharp, lingering sting when a message goes unanswered, a glance is avoided, or your presence isn't acknowledged. But why does uncertainty hurt more than a direct no? Why does our brain treat social silence as a threat to our fundamental safety? We aren't talking about a busy friend. We're talking about a meaningful pattern of being ignored that leaves you questioning your place. Our brain treats social silence as a threat to survival. It is an evolutionary alarm bell that won't stop ringing until we find clarity. The truth is, we rarely know the other person's intent. They might be overwhelmed or withdrawing or simply avoidant, but we fill the void with our own fears. Consider Maya. She noticed a friend becoming less responsive. The messages became shorter, then stopped. The silence grew louder. At first, she told herself they were just busy, but as the days turned into weeks, the silence filled her life with an invisible weight. The silence wasn't just an absence of words, it was a mirror. She began to fill the blanks with self-doubt, replaying every interaction she could recall. The friend might have been drowning in work or private grief, but to Maya, the lack of a reply felt like a complete description of her worth. Psychologists point to 4 core needs that social exclusion threatens. The first is our fundamental sense of belonging. To be ignored is to be cast out. It is a signal that we no longer have a place in the circle of connection we rely on for safety. The second need is control. When someone ignores you, you lose the ability to influence the interaction. You are essentially muted. You are left powerless to change the silence. That lack of agency is deeply unsettling to a mind built to solve social problems. Third is self-esteem. We look to others to confirm our value. Silence feels like a denial of that worth, a refusal to see our existence. If I'm not worth a simple reply, we think, then what is my place here? We start to dismantle our own value when no one reflects it back. Finally, there is meaningful existence. To be ignored is to be treated as if you don't exist. It is the ultimate social erasure. It's the feeling that your presence has no impact. This is why silence can feel more aggressive than an argument. It denies your being. Researchers use a task called cyberball to study this. Even when the other players are just icons on a screen, the exclusion hurts. A 2021 meta-analysis of 53 studies found that social exclusion reliably engages a network in the brain associated with social distress. However, scientists caution against simple claims. The experience is a whole brain response to a complex social threat, not just a single center. A 2024 study reported that people experience ostracism an average of 2 to 3 times per week. It is a common part of being human. This brings us to the core of the pain, ambiguity. The mind hates an unfinished story. We crave social closure to feel secure. When we don't have a clear explanation, our brains work overtime to find one. Silence is a gap in our social map that we must fill. This leads to rumination. It's the mental act of replaying an event over and over, searching for the missing piece of information. Rumination isn't a character flaw. It's an evolutionary urge to understand a threat so we can avoid it. It's our brain trying to protect us. A 2011 study found that people with higher rejection sensitivity were more likely to engage in later rumination after a social slight. Let's break it down. The fact is, the observation, they haven't replied. This is the only objective data we actually have in this moment. But we quickly add a story. They are angry. This is the interpretation we tell to fill the silence, born from our own fear. Between the fact and the story lies the unknown. This is where rumination lives, spinning stories that often aren't true. In the modern world, technology has become a powerful amplifier for this uncertainty. We are always on, yet often unreachable. Read receipts and online statuses provide more signals, but rarely more clarity. They show us presence, but not context. Technology doesn't cause the pain, but it makes it harder to escape. It feeds our prehistoric search for social meaning and safety. We all respond to being ignored differently. There is no universal experience and no correct way to feel in the silence. Personal history, stress, and relationship closeness all influence impact. Attachment patterns are factors, not labels or diagnoses. If you find that social exclusion causes intense or persistent distress, please remember it's always okay to reach out for professional support. You don't have to navigate the silence alone. Support is available from those who understand, and reaching out is a sign of profound strength and self-awareness. The final challenge is to differentiate the facts from the story. The fact is objective. I was not answered. The story is what we add. I do not matter. We must learn to pause before turning missing information into a verdict. Being ignored hurts because we are built to look for each other. We are social animals, and connection is our natural state. But remember, another person's silence is not a complete description of your worth. It's just a moment in a larger story. Thank you for joining us on this investigation. Understanding why we do what we do is the first step toward compassion. For more stories about the human experience, stay tuned to The Human Code. We explore the why behind the what in every episode. For more stories about why we do what we do, this is The Human Code. Subscribe to join our community of curious minds. We'll see you in the next investigation. Until then, remember that you are more than the silence you encounter. Our research is grounded in key contemporary studies. Measured evidence is the foundation of every story we tell at The Human Code. Explore our other episodes to dive deeper into The Human Code. Thank you for your time, your curiosity, and your support. This has been a production of The Human Code. We look forward to seeing you in our next investigation. Goodbye for now. The Human Code. Understand why we do what we do. A production of The Human Code. See you next time.